Hi, welcome. It's TJ. That's me. Today is a really exciting day because today we're all gonna get a sneak peek of the latest project I'm working on, which is ready, drum roll, Killer Instinct by Barbara Winkus. So, you might recall that I worked with Barbara Winkus on a previous project called the Amnesia Project, which was very popular. You guys really liked that one, which is kind of terrifying because it was a really scary book. It's like Handmaiden's Tale sort of dystopian creepiness. Like, you're gay, I can fix that for you. Patriarchal society coming down, and it was kind of creepy. So I'm pleased that everybody liked that. I'm also a little bit disturbed that everybody liked that. So Barbara and I have decided to work together again. This time we are working on Killer Instinct, which released recently on ebook. So it's available on Amazon, Kindle, all of that sort of thing. Highly recommended. It's a good one. So today is sneak peek behind the scenes. So this one it's about an ex-cop called Joanna, whose career ends after she takes the law into her own hands and kills a serial killer. Boo-hoo, right? She doesn't bother to cover her tracks, not that worried about it. Gets caught, obvs. Goes to jail, serves her time, gets out, and is sort of living a quiet life, just doing her thing. But then she hears about a murder that's eerily similar to a cold case serial killer she'd been tracking before she killed the other serial killer. She runs into a lot of serial killers. It's clearly the bad area to live in. Wherever this takes place, don't move there. Serial killers galore. Suddenly, she's pulled back into this life that she thought she'd, moved out of. She thought she'd left it all behind, but this time she might lose everything that she's worked really hard to sort of regain. And that includes her friends, a new love interest, and potentially even her own life. So this is really, into thriller territory, sort of crime. If you're into that sort of thing, a little element of romance in there as well. I'm going to read a bit from chapter 3, so I don't give away too much. But first, a girl has to lube her vocal flaps. Wink, wink. Water. Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather. She sells seashells down by the seashore. She sells seashells down by the seashore. Mecca lecca ha, mecca honey ho. Mecca lecca ha, mecca honey ho. Okay, let's do this. Joanna had planned to lay out all the reasons to Grace why they should part ways after sharing that one last drink. How come she had ended up in her bed instead? At least the sex. See? Flaps weren't lubey enough. At least the sex wasn't so bad this time. As promised, Grace showed more focus and genuine appreciation for everything Joanna did. That still didn't mean it was a good idea walking down that path. I can't wait to see you again, Grace whispered. I'll be busy for the next few weeks, Joanna lied. Also, she couldn't go back to the Copper Door for a while if Grace hung out there as well. Contrary to popular belief, Joanna tended to avoid confrontations rather than seek them out. That's all right. I can be patient. Can you stay overnight? No, sorry, I have an early start tomorrow. That was a lie too, but it was better than... That was a lie too, but it was better than to be cruel. Eventually, she hoped, Grace would get the hint. A few more minutes? Sure. Grace snuggled up to her, too close for Joanna's comfort. She couldn't even remember when she'd last gone out with a woman who wanted to cuddle and see her again. The thought made her uncomfortable. Maybe I can give you a little incentive, Grace said. Something even spicier? Alarm bells started to ring. Maybe she was beyond paranoid, beyond saving. There's a friend of mine. He'd like to meet you. Maybe hang out with us sometime? No, she wasn't paranoid, not at all. Joanna bolted upright in bed. What the hell are you talking about? You know, Grace said innocently. Some couples do that. I wanted to have you to myself for a bit, but you'd be perfect. Oh, dear God, no. No way. I think it's better if you don't call me again. I need some water. Once again, she gathered her clothes and dressed quickly, chiding herself for not seeing the signs. It had been Grace's motivation all along to find a third party. Joanna wasn't interested in being that person, not if someone gave her lots of money for it. Why don't you give it a try? I'm sure you'd like it if you gave us a chance. No, thanks. I don't do couples. More importantly, I don't do men. Ever. Forget about it. Fine, I get it. Grace gave a deep sigh. What about us? Can't we meet again, just the two of us? If forced to, Joanna would have to confess to a brief fling with a married woman when she'd just gotten out of prison and her life was a constant source of frustration and regret. That occurrence fit right in at the time. She was a little less desperate these days. No, this was a bad idea to begin with. I'm sorry, you'll have to find your third party somewhere else. I am not interested. To her dismay, Grace wrapped herself into the sheet and followed her out in the hallway. Joanna! Joanna, I'm gonna die of the plague! Joanna, please don't leave like this. What if I leave him? I'll be honest, at this point, it doesn't make any difference. I'd appreciate it if you delete my number from your phone. You shouldn't have it in the first place. Oh, my throat is sore. Every lesbian's best friend, chapstick. Also important for working in the booth. It's the medicated kind, not the cherry kind. I don't know if it's actually medicated. I think it's just got some... It's just got menthol in it. Just makes your lips feel all tangly. I'll be honest. At this point, it doesn't make any difference. I'd appreciate it if you deleted my number from your phone. You shouldn't have it in the first place. You never once intended to call me? Grace asked bitterly, as if Joanna was the person at fault. I guess now that you figured that out, we can just stop talking to each other. Good night. You have no idea what you're missing. The woman, whose name I can't pronounce all of a sudden, yelled after her. Grace yelled after her. Joanna pretended not to hear her. A straight couple on the prowl. Jesus! She needed to reevaluate her standards right now. This time, Joanna went home right away and powered up her old laptop. It had barely enough memory to allow her high-speed internet. She searched for any article and social media communication regarding the woman in the hospital and printed out everything she found. While the printer was working, she poured herself a glass of red wine from the open bottle in the fridge. Her cell phone rang. Grace. Of course, nothing could ever be this easy. Joanna turned off the phone and went to pick up the pile of sheets the printer had spat out. She scanned the newspaper articles for a name. Got lucky on the third one. C. Danvers. Next, she sorted out the social media information. It didn't take her long to find a public Facebook post mentioning Christina Danvers, including tag, expressing the hope she was okay. Water! You gotta have a bit of water in ya. From the looks of it, the poster was a female friend. Her profile and pictures looked real, which didn't mean there wasn't an imposter hiding behind it. A man, her would-be murderer, stalking her. Or he could be the woman's boyfriend or husband. Norman Decker had had a wife and a young child. Christina Danvers' account was better protected than her friend's, but even so, Joanna found a few pictures and her occupation. She was working as a secretary for a big pharmaceutical company. Would she have access to drugs? Would that be of interest to the killer? He probably had stashed up a long time ago. Joanna made a note on a separate sheet. Christina had a Twitter account in her own name. The last tweet was some cute kitten video, 10 days ago. Had she been missing? If she hadn't missed work, the killer had probably taken her on a weekend, aware of her schedule. The bar, the motel, these places were eerily familiar to Joanna, even if she hadn't been there in years. It was time to revisit soon. That other time, he had killed the victims in the motel, but in recent years the area had changed, a lot more traffic. He probably didn't want to take the risk, had brought Christina elsewhere. She took the map out and spread it on the table, marking the bar and the hotel. Then the place where Nate had almost run over Christina Danvers. How far had she run? What exactly did she remember? There was only one person who could answer those questions, and getting those answers would jeopardize the fragile ceasefire she had managed with There was only one person who could answer those questions, and getting those answers would jeopardize the fragile ceasefire she had with Theo. Vanessa would criticize her, but let it go. Theo had no reason to feel guilty toward her, so he wouldn't let her off so easily. It was best if neither of them knew, at least unless she got some valuable information. In that case, they couldn't be too hard on her. Joanna had always hated how the lives of crime victims tended to be dissected in the search for a reason, especially when those victims were women. Some tended to leave out information for the fear of judgment. If there was alcohol and flirting involved, it wasn't much of a reach to assume Christina might have done the same. Ba-dum-bum! So, that's as far as I'm going to read because it gets slightly spoilery after that. But I don't want to spoil it because, guys, it's really good if you haven't read it. So, I suggest you should definitely buy this book when it comes out because it's going to be so good. And who doesn't like tracking down serial killers and redemption and love? And I mean, it touches on all the important things. And also telling weird people, no, I don't want to be part of your husband's threesome. Because we've all been there. Alright guys, so I will leave it at that. Thank you very much for sticking with me for another video. If you liked that video, please like it there, wherever the like button is. Hit that like button. Leave a comment, let me know, and I will see you guys soon. Alright, bye! Where did that gray hair come from? What is that? Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather. Sometimes my brain kind of goes off. Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather.